Today we will do the practical of JWT.
JWT, yes.
So you know, right?
Yes.
JWT
JSON Web Token, yes.
web token, right?
Yes, sir.
So it is used for authorization, right?
Yes, sir.
In your when you have the load balancers is there, you have microservices is there, multiple servers come into. Okay, so let's start. So I have made a roadmap for you guys, which you all
Okay.
can follow, and you can do the JWT. That's how we had made a roadmap for. Do you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is the JWT token. So if you want, you can start making a fresh application, or you can add it to your existing application, whatever. Okay, so let's try making a fresh application only then. So let's open Spring Initializer. So let's try to open Spring Initializer. And let's make form.scs artifact. We can call it JWT token, JSON web token. Okay, so this will be the package name, form.scs.jw token. What all dependencies do we have to add? Okay, rest whatever you have to take, Maven, Java. Okay, change 3115. Okay, all good. Add the dependencies. What are the dependencies you have to add? Web
MySQL Web.
and web. I mentioned everything over here from this file. Add the dependencies, web and security. Okay, let's start with
Okay.
web and security. Spring security. Okay,
Okay.
and if you want to add others, Lombok, if you want to add, you can add Lombok also. And then we will not be interacting with the database in this, because we'll be hard coding the user ID and password. So you can JPA and
Assalamualaikum, sir.
that is not required. That is not required as of now. So let's just generate this much. Okay. So once it is extracted, I'll share my screen again. So on my Eclipse, let me add that project over here. JW finish. Okay. is updating the project. Then this happen. So that has been added. Let's check it over here. AW token, and so let's now follow the steps. So step number 1 is done. Step number 2 is done. Step number 3 is done. Okay. Now make a web security. Okay, that how the one which we had made for DAO. Okay, the web security configurer. Correct.
Yes.
We will make in which package? In the security package, right? So I will go first and make the let's go and make a security package. SCS token new and make a package dot security, and in that security package you make a class security configurer. Okay, whatever name you want to give to this class. The security configurer is the name. So make a new class security configurer, and take this part and put it over there. In the security configurer, paste this, and you have to, and this has enable web security, and this has also enable configuration. So this is a configuration. Okay. Now, what I'm doing over here is I'm over. Let's do Control Shift O. Okay. And security configure adapter. Why is this not? Where is my comments? So we have security starter. We have this. We have taken the security starter. Long bot and other test. Now version 17 we are using. Let's go and Java class part and external jar and library here and here is what we have. That's general Java 17. It not be a problem. Here should not be a problem. Java 17. All my applications are running on this one. College app using Java SC 1.8. Here, go to build path, configure build path, class path, add like JRE, alternate JRE. Go to install JRE. The one which we install. If I have told over there, I'll be using Java 7. Sticky list here. Okay, so what this is telling, but why is it not importing the security adapter? It should import the web security configure adapter. Problem. It is not able to detect that. That is it not able to detect this. Oh. From the configure adapter. See, post 3 version 3, no, there has been a changes and there has been a lot of deprecation that have happened of the usage of web security configure adapter. So if we go back to the older version, let's say, we come back over here and we try to use okay, let's try to use this one, 2.7.17. So if I go to my form XML, 2.7 was to do on this 14. See, it's doing a build. Done. If I go to security package, and now if I do a control shift O, now it will add. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And for this, we always override which method, the configure method, which takes the authentication manager builder, right?
Yes.
Okay. And for this, I am just giving the user details. As I'm hard coding it, I'm just making an object of this class, my user details, auto wiring it and passing it as that object over here. Okay. And as the password is visible, I'm giving this. So I'm giving password as plain text. Password I will give as plain text. Okay. Okay. So now I have to create this class also now. So this class, because I'm using object of this class. So this class, as the name suggests, should go in the service. Should go in the service. So make a new package. Service. And in the service package, make a class which will give you the user detail service. So my user detail service. So step 1 is done. Now I'm going to step 2. So I make a service class, okay? And my user detail service will implement user details, and I will give the hard-coded user. Hard-coded user, hard-coded password. And this is my service class. So I'll not it with add service. Control Shift O. Now I don't have any inbuilt user, okay? So I'll use the existing user class, the one with the security core. And now when I will log into the system, I will log in with this credential, username and password. Okay, and these are the roles of that user. So now here, as we have taken a auto add object of this, now if I do a control shift O, it will import that class. Okay, and this is done. So this is showing that my user details are coming from this class. So I make a class and I pass the user details over here. This is the username and this is the password. So what happens is, I'll show you internally what we are trying to achieve. So as mentioned in the theoretical explanation of JWT token, that first time and subsequent time, right? The client, when he visits first time, what will happen? And when he visits subsequent time, second, third, fourth time, what will happen? Correct? So when he visits for the first time, we will call the endpoint which will generate the token for us. Let's say we call that as /authenticate. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So this /authenticate token, I will pass the username and password as a request body. I'll pass the username and password. Okay. So we will create a class as mentioned earlier, request body class, right? The entity class. Okay, so we'll have a request body class, and to it I will pass two data, username and password. And to the authenticate, when I will hit the authenticate endpoint in the request body, I will pass the username and password. So in this case, what will I pass?
Username Alice and Alice.
Alice and Alice. So it will go and authenticate. So authentication will pass or fail? Authentication will succeed or not? When I pass username as Alice and password as Alice, and I have given this as my username and password, will my authentication pass or fail? Are you all there?
Yes, sir. Pass, no, sir.
Authentication will succeed.
Succeed. Yes.
And succeed, this authenticate endpoint will return a string, and that string will be JWT token, will be the JWT token. And this authenticate endpoint, see, we have added the security dependency, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
By default, when I add the security dependency, where does it route the request to? Then I will hit the /endpoint. Where will it route it to? The login page, default login page.
Yes. Default on.
I will bypass that. I will bypass the login page. I will bypass the login page and directly. So when I call /authenticate, directly it will just check from here.
Yes.
Request body. If it is valid, it will generate the string token, and the token is sent back to the as a response. So when this returns, it will return back the token. And now for subsequent requests, whenever I will hit them, I will pass this token to as a header. In the request, we have two things: request body and request header. So in the request header, I will pass this token whenever I will hit any of the subsequent endpoints. Okay. So that's why first we have to create the authenticate endpoint, which will generate the token for us. That is the first target. So the steps we are following over here. So we made this class. Now we have made this class also. Okay.
Yeah.
Now to run the application right now. Okay. Now for the token, we have to add these two dependencies. Which two dependencies we have to add? JSON web token and this JAX
Java. Yes.
Copy them from here and paste it to your form XML. Paste it to the form XML, and you will get save it, and it will download the token. This also step is clear. Nothing much in it. Then next. Okay. Now we need a class which will open the token. So next time, whenever we will hit the request, okay, let's say if I call the add teacher endpoint or delete teacher endpoint, right?
Yes.
What will I pass to these endpoints in the request header?
You
The token. What will I pass?
yes, token, sir.
Token is being generated by which service?
String authenticate.
Authenticate. So after successfully authentication, I will get the token and I will pass this token to all the subsequent endpoints. Okay.
Endpoints.
Now there should be some class which can open the token, read the token. Okay. So that is by Day50 util class. Okay. Read the token, check whether token is valid or has it expired. Check validity of token. So who will check all this? Which class will check all this? So that
util.
utils. What is that class?
JWT util.
Yeah, Day50 utils. So go and make a class by the name Day50 utils, and this is in the utils package. So make a package by the name utils and make this class over there. So go to your application, make one more package by what name?
JWT util.
Package will be util. How you have java.util for the scanner class. Like this, we'll make our own util package.
Yes.
And this util package make a class by what name?
JWT utils. Yes.
And now paste all this code which is mentioned over here in this class. Okay. What is this code doing? This code is just used to interpret the data in the token. So whatever payload was there, how will we read the payload?
From the header.
See, on the header we will get the token.
Yes.
So how will I read all that content from that token? Okay, how will I read the header, read the payload? So for all that, we have method in which class? In the Day50 utils class.
Utils.
This class is used to interpret the token. It has various methods which will help you interpret the token. So, and this is connoted as at service. Okay, so it is a service class rather. It is not in the util, so keep it in the service. Do not put it in the util package. It's a at service class. So let's make it in the service. Let's drag and drop it in the service package. Let's drag and drop this in the service package. So the package name for util is service. In the service. So on this and take all this data from here. See, we will not be writing the code for generating the token. Token code will already be there in the application. You just have to use the token. You all should understand how to use the token. Generating of token is not what we will be doing. This are all. Okay, so this is a secret key. No, we had told that there will be a secret key with which you have to sign the token. Okay, so whatever secret key you want to give, you can give. So if you SCS, whatever, and now import all this. Control Shift O. So take function from function. Take date from util, not from SQL. Okay, and we have import. Now Okay, this is utils we have given, right?
Yes, sir. Util.
This also is done. So this has all these methods. See, is the token expired? Extract all the claims. Claims means payload. Claims mean
Payload.
extract the payload from the token. So all that, extract the username from the token, generate the token. So all this token related activities, set the expiry of the token, how much time the token will be expired. Okay. So these are in milliseconds. 1000 means 1 second. 1000 means
1 second.
1 second. 1 second into 60 means
60 seconds.
1 minute. Okay.
1 minute. Yeah.
Okay. 1 minute into 60 means
1 hour.
1 hour. 1 hour into 10 means
10 hour.
so your token is valid for 10 hours.
Mm.
If you want to make it valid for 1 day, then what will you do? Into 20.
24.
So this is valid for 1.
1 day.
Okay. If you want to make this valid for 1 year, then into 365.
365. Yes.
Okay. So this is now valid for how much?
1 year.
So like this, you can set the expiry and all that, and the algorithm which we will sign the token, right? The first header, remember or not?
Yes, sir.
It contains the algorithm. So which algorithm we are using to sign? Signature algorithm HS256 and this secret key which we have mentioned on top.
Yes.
All these utility stuff are mentioned in this class. All see now this is all just configuration stuff. There's no business logic in this that we have to understand. It's just pure configuration. Just understand which file goes where and how to run it. So this is done. Now step 7, what it says. Now we have to pass the to the authenticate endpoint. What is the input we are going to pass?
Username and password.
And what is the output we will get?
Response body.
Make 2 entity classes, one for request body, one for response body. The request, this is to the authenticate endpoint. So whatever data will go to the whatever input and output the authenticate endpoint will generate, make entity classes for that. So authentication request. What is the class name?
Authentication request.
And this is the entity class. This is a
Entity class.
table will not be created. Okay, table will not be created of this because we're not
Yes.
using the database. So don't
Yes, sir.
that entity. So you can put this in the model package or entity package, whichever. Because all the Pojo classes go there, right? All the Pojo classes, they go in the model package. So let's make a package name by the name model. Go to new and package security, not security dot model or entity, whatever name you wish to be. And in this model package, make the two class. One is your authentication request. So what will come in the authentication request? We are sending that string username and password, correct? Sending the string username and password. So we are sending the string username and password. So are you all using Lombok?
Yes, sir.
Give the constructor and all that stuff. So directly we can just say we're using these two, string username and string password, annotate with @ data and @ all arg constructor and @
Getter and setter.
that all has come in data. That all
Okay.
come in
Data. Okay, sir.
both the what happened to the data of log. So just give simple data, all args constructor and no args constructor. Similarly, we'll make the what will be the response of this authenticate endpoint? It will be the token, and token is a string format. So when you go to the so it has no args constructor
Yes, sir.
and getter setter. That's all it has, right? And then we'll have a authentication.
Response.
So authentication response class. So this is the response of the authenticate endpoint. Okay. So this will have the token, and the token will be final and static. You cannot change the token, and there will be only one token. So how will we declare the token?
Final key.
Final
Private final.
private final string. So if the element is a final string, can you give a setter function for this? No, we can only read it.
No, sir. Read it. Yes, sir. Because it's final.
Final. Okay, and here we can the all args constructor and give the no args constructor as the data in it is final getter from lambda. Okay, so the final field may not be initial. Okay, so this we can eliminate. So we can just give the getter function over it. So this will just have the getter and nothing apart from that. So just it will have no all args constructor and it will have the getter. That's all. Only do a control shift O will remove the unwanted imports. So this is the input to the authenticate, and this is the output from the authenticate. The authenticate function will return a string that will be the jailbreak token. So we've reached till here. Okay. And now we will create the endpoint. Okay. Now we will create the endpoint. So endpoint we have to go to the controller. So let's make one more package called as controller. New package called as controller. In this, make a new class by the name Day50 controller. Whatever name you want to give to the controller. Day50 controller, and annotate it with @test controller. Okay. So once you have your controller in place, now what all should go in the controller is shown over here. Okay. So we will be making the authenticate endpoint. This is the code of that endpoint. Okay, so I just copy this code from here and I paste it over here. So this is an endpoint authenticate, to which I will pass in the request body. I will pass the object of authenticate request. Okay, it will authenticate, and this will return me a response entity of type string. Okay, you return the response entity, and that will be my authentication response. The response will be of what type?
Authentication response.
So do a control shift O. Okay. So now how many objects are we using over here? Any guesses?
Response entity.
No. Here.
Authentication.
Authentication manager object
Yes.
to call the authenticate function.
Yes, sir.
I told you the authentication manager has a function called as authenticate in the very first session, to which we access via the authentication builder.
Yes, sir.
So we need an object of authentication manager, we need an object of user details service, and we need an object of JW token. So it is the easiest way in Spring Boot to get all the objects. It is the easiest way in Spring Boot to get these objects.
Lombok, no?
No. Auto wiring. You just
Auto wide. Yeah.
auto wire these. Okay. So now our class name is JWT utils. Okay. So I want the object of JWT utils over here, and I want the object of this user detail service. Both objects I want. So what will I do?
At auto wired.
Auto wire. So see here we have done that, and I want the object of the authentication manager. All that
Yes.
I just copy paste over here.
Yes.
And paste it. Okay. Here it is now in the class, right? You have to be aware of it. Now do a control shift O. Once all are imported.
Yes.
We'll go. Okay. Now authentication manager. Okay. If this object is to work, we have to do one more setting in our configure file. Okay. We have to add one more method over here. Okay. That method also I have shown over here. That method I have put it in my document. Okay. So once this is done, authentication endpoint is done. Okay. And I have told for the authentication manager function to work, write this function in your configure file. So put this function over in the config authentication manager. Do a control shift O. This function should be there. So far so good. It looks like, yeah. Okay. Now by default, when I try to hit any endpoint, if I've added a security package, if you try to hit any endpoint, it will route to the login page, right? Login page of Spring Boot. So now I don't want to authenticate from there. So I will bypass this endpoint. So I will tell Spring Boot that whenever authenticate endpoint is called, no need to route to the login page, but bypass that page. So that we will do in the configure method with the HTTP security. So that we will go to the this is the configure of the authentication manager builder. Okay, not this configure. Which configure we have right now? The configure of control space bar. The configure with the HTTP security.
Request.
So what will I tell this method? That whenever the request endpoint will be hit, please route it to the login page. Bypass that request. So that we were telling, let everybody access the endpoint. Okay, you are saying this is with HTTP. Okay, this is with the HTTP. This is the object which we have over here. With that object, we will say, if we are calling the authenticate endpoint, just permit it. Okay. And other request, if any other endpoint is called, then you authenticate that, but don't authenticate flash. Are you getting this? What this is trying to do? It is telling if slash authenticate endpoint is called permitted. Apart from that, any other endpoint is called, you please authenticate it. That is the configure of the HTTP security history. Okay. So far, so good. I guess the token generation part is done. We have two windows, right? First visit and subsequent visit. So first visit part is done. Now it is telling. Now try to hit the authenticate endpoint with this request body. With this request body, and will give you a token. So let's check it. So at least this much part is the first visit part is more or less done. It is trying to tell us. Let's check it. Let's see if this can. Okay, we have not given the database server. So if you have not given the server, it will go to 8080. If 8080 is busy, see 8080 is busy. So what do? You go to your resources and you go to application property and say what? Server.port equals to 8087, whatever is the port you feel will be free, you can give that port. So my WAMP is using 8080. Okay, application has started. Okay. Try to hit which endpoint? Try to hit which endpoint? DWT controller / authenticate, right? So let's go and let me try to use API dog over here. If API dog can help us. So now I have to the authenticate endpoint, I have to give a request body. That request body is of which class? Which class is that?
Authentication request.
What does it require?
Username and password. Two attributes.
Yes, so it requires two attributes. So
Yes.
username colon. Okay, so what is the username we have given?
Alice.
Alice. And what is the password?
Password is also Alice.
Password also is Alice. So once it authenticates it from here, username Alice and password also Alice. And this I have to send. Okay. So if everything, okay, have you run the application? Yes. If I do a send, if everything goes good, it returns with a token. You see the token?
Yes, sir. Encrypted format.
Yes. You see the response? So if I copy this, and if we go to our browser where we were seeing the token, you see my browser screen? Yes.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Now if I go and paste this token over here, it will show you all your data. So what all is there in this token? What is there in this token? Who is a subscriber?
Yes, sir.
Alice. And what time it got created and what time it will expire. Getting it?
Yes. To.
Okay. So this is expiring on Thursday, December 7, 2023. This is what the expiry of the token is showing. And this is the issued at. What time is it issued? November 20, 2023, right?
Yes, sir.
51.
Yes, sir.
So this is your token. So all your information is now, it is in the payload. So your username is mentioned over here, correct?
Yes.
Henceforth, when I will send the request and I will send this payload, this GRB token, it will fetch now which user has logged in from the okay. So
Yes, sir.
next time when the patient will come directly, he will bring the token and we will scan the token. So from the payload, we'll get all the information about that user. No need to ask him, who are you? Who are you? So this is how it will maintain the state. Okay.
Yes.
So always now copy this somewhere and keep it safely. Okay. So as of now, for the okay, I will open a notepad screen and I will paste this token. So that for the next whenever we'll hit the next endpoint, we will pass the token. So I open a notepad screen and I paste my token. Okay. And be very careful in pasting. So the first character is EY most of the time. And the last character in my case has come ZK. Okay, so be very careful. So, okay, EY and last is ZK. Okay, all good. Now we will try to hit another endpoint passing this token. So this was your first visit. So first visit successful, you have got the token.
Yes, sir.
Okay, the first visit is successful. So we have our session into two halves. Okay, so this was your first visit. Till here was first visit. So it will
First visit.
send the request and you will get the token. This was your first visit. First visit is done. Now for second visit, when he will come, he will bring the token and token will go where? In the header, in the
Header.
like this. I sent the data, I got the token. Okay. First, now for the second visit, this is the part 2. Okay. So in the part 2, what you have to do is now whenever you are now if I try to hit this endpoint, let's say if I go to the controller and I make one new endpoint. Okay. Let's say I do a get mapping. And I say, let's say second visit, whatever name. And this will give me a string in return. You can do the same function. And I will return 12. Will I return 12? Okay. So now when I will hit the this endpoint, second visit, will it directly go and call this welcome, or will it now go and open the token and check whether who has logged in, all that stuff? For the second visit,
Yes, sir.
it has to go and open the token and check, right?
Yes.
So for
Open
that,
the door.
we will add a filter. So a filter is a activity which is a prerequisite activity. Okay, so you see entrance exams for a course.
Hmm.
So if someone wants to do a course, he has to appear for an entrance exam, correct?
Entrance. Yes, sir. Entrance.
So what is the entrance exam? It's a pre-activity.
Reactivity.
So similarly, a pre-activity in Spring Boot or in Java are called as filter. Are called as what?
Filter.
See, filter, as the name suggests, filter. If you have your drinking water and this is your corporation or whatever municipality pipeline, so this water which is coming directly is directly coming to the jar in which you store the water for drinking water, correct?
Yes, sir.
What do you apply in between them now that you will get clean water? So you will apply a
Filter.
aquaguard,
Filter, sir. Aquaguard filter. Any.
any filter, whatever,
Yes, sir.
like a filter over here. So now when the water will fall in this drinking jar, it will first pass by the filter and then fall, correct?
Yes, sir.
Now whenever the user will come second time, I will always scan for the token first, correct?
First.
So
Yeah.
token, so I will add a filter. So the filter is a class. So we will make a filter package which contains all the filters. So let's make a package first. Let's call it as a filter package. And now in this filter package, we will make a class. So whenever the request will come, it will be intercepted first by the filter. And the filter will open up the token and check.
Filter will check.
So I made a new pack. And this is the class which we will be creating, which is called as JWT
Request filter.
filter. And there are many types of filters we can use. So in the filter class, now filter package, make a class by the name JWT request filter. And this class is extending once per request filter. And this is the add component class. If you want, so if you want to make a object auto wired, either it should be an entity or it should be a service or it should be a repository or it should be a controller. If it is not from among these four, then it should be add components. So just copy this code. And you paste that code over here. So whatever utils, right? Control Shift O. So all have been imported. So this is telling that whenever the request will come, I will open the header and so when I will pass the token, see, you always pass. How do we pass request param? How do we pass the request param? If I have a request param to pass,
Yes.
so how do we pass it? Key value,
Yes,
right?
sir. P value, P1. And
So,
yes,
so the
sir.
key for the token is called as authorization. What is it called as?
Authorization.
Always. This is fixed. Okay, you cannot change this. And here you pass your token. EY,
Token.
blah blah blah. You have. Okay.
Okay.
But first you have to write bearer. First, what you have to write? Bearer space and then the token. Are you getting it? So what is the key of the token? And what is the value of the token? Key
Key
is,
is authorization and value is bearer and token.
so if I take it as a string, from which character is my token actually starting?
EY.
So which is that? Which is the index?
0.
The token is starting from which index? B is at 0.
Okay, okay. Sir.
E is at
One,
1. A is
0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
at 7
Space.
index, right? So
Yes,
that is
sir.
what it is doing over here. And it is telling from the header, get the key what?
Authorization.
And if that authorization is starting with which keyword?
Okay, 7.
Yes. Then go and read from the 7th character. You will get the token.
Okay, sir. Wow. Understood.
Token you extract the username, the subscriber, remember?
Yes.
And that you will get the username. And then from that username, you do the authentication, whether it is a valid user or not. All that stuff it is doing over here.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
It is opening up the token and checking who user has logged in. And if it is a legitimate user, you will allow. And if it is not legitimate user, you will not allow. Okay. So this is what the request filter class is doing in a short. So run this. Okay. Now, what we had told that whenever the next request will come, it will should pass via the filter. Okay. Will the first request pass by the filter?
No, sir.
So first request will directly go, right?
Directly go.
Request will come, should pass by the filter. So now we will go and change this HTTP method, the HTTP security method, which we have given over here in the web configurer. So what we have told, when the first method comes, you send it, and other you have to authenticate. So other request I will pass via the filter. Other request I will pass via the
Filter.
filter. So that is what is told over here. Okay, so permit all and any request, and now you will take pass it via the filter. This is now what we have to do. Okay, you have to pass via the filter. And now here, how many objects are we? Just import whatever we can import. Okay, after dot permit all, what is there? After permit all, there is a dot. After permit all, there is a dot. Okay. And now see what all we can import from here. Do a control shift O. So it has imported this. Okay. And of this HTTP security. The object HTTP security. Okay, it is in the configure with the HTTP security. Yeah. Okay, the object name is HTTP only. Okay. The object name is only HTTP, right? So with HTTP, add the filter. Which filter are we adding? So we need object of which class?
JWT request filter.
What do we do? Auto wire it.
Auto wired, yeah.
Okay. Just go and auto wire the CO here. So which is that class which you want? JWT
Filter.
request filter.
Request.
What object have you made for that? Below JWT
JWT request filter.
small j. And we will just auto wire that. Okay. So once the auto wire is gone, then we have got this setting also as well. So next time we're telling whenever subsequent visit comes, you please pass it via the filter. Okay, so this configuration also we what happened now? When we auto wire it, control shift O. Now why is the add filter before? Extends HTTP security applicable for the method add filter before is the type of HTTP security is not applicable for argument of zero request filter class authentication filter. Why is it not applicable? The auto wired JWT request filter also over here. Configure of the HTTP security, right? I just copy this function all over here, paste it, the configure of the HTTP security. Yeah. Copy with the override and paste it. Yeah, looks good. Okay, again it is showing some error over here. That okay, what is the object name? HTTP security. Okay. So it is telling that authenticate permit all and all the requests should pass via the method add filter is not applicable for argument change to add filter at. No, this is a before filter, right? That before going to this endpoint, you have to come via this. Why is this throwing an error? Security, right? And we have given it that enable confidence. So it's done only now. This last step is showing a problem. Secure dot add filter before. Yeah, this is what we are doing. And this filter should run before. And now we have come to the last point that at the controller maker endpoint. So why is this causing a problem? Configure of the HTTP security, yeah. Of type HTTP security. Yes, we are in the configure of HTTP security. We are in the configure of HTTP security. We have a HTTP security object over here. Okay, that we are doing that. If it is authenticate request, permit it. Any other request, we pass it. This will not work. The JWT request filter, right? JWT request filter has been auto wired, and we have annotated with the add component. Yeah, so if it is add component, it should work. It should be auto wired, and rest all details are also good. Why is this causing a problem? Let's try to create the endpoint, second endpoint. What is the last step? Is the last step? Yeah, you go and create the subsequent. Okay, this is the second endpoint. This we already created. This we have already created in the controller. Yeah, so looks good. Let's see if we can run this application. And see. Okay, and the error seems to have gone. Yeah, it was the okay, and now we have started the application. So now let's start the steps all over again. So what will be the first step? What will be the first step? Yes, Jada. Yes, okay.
Yes.
I go to authenticate. Okay. There's no params. Okay. There's nothing in the request. So just go this one. Try. There's nothing over here. Go with. There is no request param. Okay. So I go to the body and I pass the username and I do a send. It gives me the token. Okay. So I
Yes.
token, store it safely somewhere. Copy and paste it. ++, wherever. Okay. Last word is P8. Yeah, it is P8. So now next time when I will hit which endpoint?
Second visit.
So I will call which second visit point, right?
Yes, sir.
And to this, I will have to pass the token. With, okay, so this is a get. Okay, so let's not fidget with this. We'll make a new one. Make a new one. Get API. What is the name of the endpoint? Second visit. Okay. And now save, run. And now over here in your headers, what is the key? See over here from the key. Which key? Authorization. Got it?
Authorization, yes.
What is the value? Bearer
Yes.
is
And
the token.
token.
Be very alert while pasting the token. Starts with EY. Okay. Copy it thoroughly, because if you miss anything from this token, it will not be accepted. And I pass this token from here to bearer space and the token. Okay.
Yes.
And now if I do a send, if it is a legitimate user, it will
Welcome.
hit the endpoint. And if I change anything, okay, let's say from after this E, I remove this J. Okay. Now this token is tampered. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
I do a hit, it will not give me anything.
Not giving. Yes.
03, forbidden, not authorized. Okay, so here what we had a G. So now you are able to hit the endpoint. This is what the token does for you. What the concept of token? So this is very widely used in Spring security context. Okay, DW token. So there will be one service who will generate the token for you, and whenever you're going to hit endpoint, you have to pass the token. And token embeds all the security details. All the payload is there in the. So this was the last topic in your Spring